Now, across Texas, the issue is.
I'm Rudy Koski in Austin.
I'm Stephen Dial in Dallas.
I'm Greg Krugen in Houston, and this is Texas, the issue is.
The collection of Texas Democrats currently running for governor is now at 4. 3 of the candidates have seen a political battlefield before, but the 4th candidate, the 4th contender, Bobby Cole, his field is typically at his East Texas ranch, which is usually occupied by cattle. Of the 4 Democrats who are expected to be on the March primary ballot, Bobby Cole believes that he is the one that has the best plan to take on Governor Greg Abbott. We talked about that plan and some of the big issues for his campaign.
I have concerns where our state government's going, some of the policies they have.
What are some of those policies that triggered you to run?
As far as policies, I think our health care policy is not for the long term. We've underfunded education, and affordability is a growing issue every day.
Let's talk some specific policies. Where do you stand on this school choice issue?
I'm not for it, and just to sum it up real easy, I just don't think public funds should be spent for a private want.
School choice has already passed the legislature. As governor, would you do an executive order that would stop it?
Yes. Yes, I would reverse it.
Another hot issue is the border. The big surge has stopped, but we still have a large presence down on the border with DPS troopers, National Guard members. How would you handle that situation? Would you draw it back?
I believe in a strong border, and we need to keep a presence down there until we can figure out what level can maintain that security at that border. It shouldn't be an endless money draw to protect the border.
There's progressive, there's social Democrats, there's moderate Democrats, Clinton Democrats. What kind of Democrat are you?
All those labels you put on, I don't know exactly what they mean, and I'm sure they mean, even with people within those sectors, probably have different definitions for that. I'm simply a working class Democrat.
The Democrat Party has made gender identity a big issue on the political stage. Where do you stand on this transgender situation, biological males who transition to women? Should they play in women's sports?
I think it happens so little. What I think is that is a local issue, because the people locally understand the issue more than politicians from Austin could.
Another big social debate, it deals with casino gambling and destination resorts. Where do you stand on that issue?
It seems like if you're going to Oklahoma to do it, you're going to Louisiana to do it, you're flying to Las Vegas to do it, why don't we do it here? It makes sense to me to capture that economic revenue and tax base and start doing something, maybe ease property tax pressures.
Would Bobby Cole be a transportation governor?
It just makes sense. I mean, Texas isn't going to slow down, and me as governor, I'm not going to slow it down. I want economic growth.
And we haven't talked about this yet, oil and gas. Are you a drill, baby, drill kind of guy?
I'm pro-energy for the state because we need jobs, we need the economic development from these jobs, and we need the tax base from these jobs. I am pro-oil and gas, but I'm also wind and solar also. I don't think we should minus one from the other.
How do you get some separation between you and the other leading candidates, Andrew White, Gina Hinojosa?
Gina's from Austin, Andrew's from Houston. I'm from rural Texas, and I think there's a lot of issues there that rural Texas has been left behind on.
How do you reach that primary voter who right now may identify as a progressive or a social Democrat? How do you reach those individuals?
I can turn out more vote in rural Texas than they can. And that's where Greg Abbott is vulnerable. And I don't think they can take advantage of that, and I can.
All right, quick editorial note. I spoke to Bobby Cole just before Chris Bell tossed his hat into the race. With that said, my word for this interview is maverick. Stephen, give me a word.
My word is research, as in people may have to do their research to find out about him.
All right, Greg, do your fast draw with a word.
All right, Rudy, my word is yellow, as in the term yellow dog Democrat, a label Bobby Cole seems to be looking to resurrect.
Oh, that's good. I like that. And with that, we will take a break. When we come back, the Texas Trio will discuss how Bobby Cole is trying to wrangle a way to his party's nomination. All right, welcome back. East Texas rancher Bobby Cole wants to be the Democrat nominee for governor. He calls himself a working class Democrat, but make no mistake, like a wild cow that's never been branded, Bobby Cole is a campaigning maverick. Greg, Cole believes he can round up enough of those rural votes to undercut the Republican majority vote that will most likely go to Greg Abbott. What do your number crunchers say?
Rudy, like all the Democrats running this race, Bobby Cole's bid is a lottery ticket in need of an unlikely lightning strike. I'm pretty sure he knows that, but hey, just like the Texas lottery, you can't win unless you play the game. So here he is, front and center on Texas The Issue Is, saying he's against school choice. Trouble there for Cole and all the other Democrats is that hot off the press polling from the TSU Barbara Jordan survey found a solid majority of Texas parents support it, especially African Americans and Hispanics. Rudy, you asked him about boys and girls sports, another 80-20 topic. You know, and he immediately punted to local control. And I'd bet money on how the folks in the vicinity of his home in Quitman, Texas would come down on that. On border security, I'm just guessing his wait-and-see answer on a potential Operation Lone Star shutdown won't be too well received from the hard left. And then there's his campaign website pledge to lower taxes. Sounds good, Bobby, but how and where and what are you willing to cut? Sure enough, Yellow Dog Democrats once ruled the Lone Star State, but fellas, until I see different, pretty sure those days are done. Rudy?
Yeah, but you got to admit this rural strategy from a Democrat, that's a new one for me. The analysis that I've seen in the past has been that their campaign trail goes right through urban centers of Texas. The problem is finding a candidate that can unify the different shades of blue in all those districts, different voting blocks. Stephen, your Democrat sources up there in North Texas, what are they thinking about the four for governor? Or is Jasmine Crockett just sucking all the air and money out of this battleground?
I mean, she is a name in itself. You can't deny that. When it comes to this candidate and this campaign, I actually met the man at one of the redistricting town halls in Arlington. And he is right as far as saying that Democrats, when they campaign, they kind of leave out the rural parts of Texas. And the head of the Texas Democratic Party has also said that and said that they're going to go to more rural areas. He has appeal. It's just I don't think the name recognition is there and the amount of time that he needs to get to it before trying to win a primary. That may be his Achilles heel. He does have some things that, him as a candidate sets him apart, but a lot of the issues are some of the issues that may not win in a primary, or if it wins in a primary, it definitely will possibly get blown out in the general election.
Greg, you brought this up. All the Democrat candidates for governor that we've spoken to so far say that they will deep six school choice. But the big issue for Governor Greg Abbott in his reelection bid is a pitch for more property tax reform. Two different approaches. What are your insiders saying?
Well, Rudy, we already talked about the hefty support for school choice, although that could change if the rollout leaves too many on the outside looking in. As for tax relief, what well are Democrats and Republicans going to draw from? I mean, Abbott's combination of homestead exemption cuts and non-voter approved caps on local hikes has been undercut by local appraisal boards. I hate to say this, Rudy, but you were actually on target in years past. The only way for Abbott to get property tax abolition folks at least partially off his back may be freezing the valuation of homes and even commercial property and labeling it a great for Texas business strategy. As for Democrats, they may shift taxation, but I'll be absolutely stunned if they ever actually cut it.
Yeah, good point. Stephen, Texas Democrats like Bobby Cole certainly need to be anti-Trump with their message, along with the rich versus poor spin. But I've noticed political rhetoric by the four candidates, a lot of education, a lot of tabletop issues. What's your read?
Yeah, and that's what Democrats have to do if they want to win. They have to keep talking about the economy, keep talking about inflation. While inflation has slowed, has decreased, it's still there. And so it's still impacting people. I think that's the only winning strategy for Democrats in certain races. It's still going to be an uphill battle. All right, guys, coming up, the shutdown is over, but Republicans and Democrats are still pointing fingers. We'll hear from two from North Texas after the break.
I feel like people still don't know about our podcast.
Who cares?
It's on More 27 every Wednesday night at 7:30.
Geez, who cares?
It's not just sports.
Who cares?
Hopefully you.
All right, the longest shutdown in U.S. history lasted more than 40 days, and now it's over. Republicans and Democrats continue to point fingers at each other. 8 senators broke with the Democratic Party to basically get things across the finish line. So who will get the most blame heading into the midterms? I spoke to North Texas Republican Congressman Brandon Gill and North Texas Democrat Congresswoman Julie Johnson.
This whole 40-day shutdown was a nihilistic Hail Mary pass from Chuck Schumer because he was terrified that he's going to get primaried from his left by AOC. They accomplished nothing out of it. All that happened through this shutdown was that air traffic controllers didn't get paid, TSA agents didn't get paid, SNAP benefits were reduced, and a variety of other federal workers didn't get paid. That was the result of this. And I think the American people can see that.
Your colleague on the other side of the aisle, Brandon Gill from North Texas, I just finished talking to him. He said that this will hurt Democrats going into the midterms. I would assume you're going to say it hurts Republicans. Tell me why.
Well, he couldn't be further off the base. He obviously doesn't talk to people, or see a poll. Republicans have lost 20 points since this shutdown. The American people strongly blame this whole crisis that we're in on them. The Republicans have the House, they have the Senate, they have the executive. They've been unable to lead. They've been unable to pass an appropriations bill to be able to go through this process, so that we should have had to have a CR.
I know Republicans needed Democrat help in the Senate. Are you supporting what people call the nuclear option? Do you think Senate votes should just be on majority for things like this?
No, listen, I mean, we're able to reopen the government without exploring the nuclear option. So I think that, the goal has been accomplished here. But, I think just simply numerically, you can say Republicans control the House, Senate, and the White House, but you have to have 60 votes to pass a bill out of the Senate. That's true for any piece of legislation that we pass. So that, it's a little disingenuous for Democrats to make that argument. I think that they know that. We need 7 Democrats to get a bill passed out of the Senate. That's how it's always been. That's how it's been this entire year.
Democrats took a big hit in 2024, and it kind of boiled down to the economy. How do you see the economy right now heading into 2026? Do you think the economy has improved? I know inflation has slowed some, but people are still feeling it.
The economy's terrible. Trump and Republicans campaigned on this promise to fix the economy, and they have completely failed to deliver that. A cup of coffee is an extra 21% cost. Most people I know really need their cup of coffee in the morning. And, everything is more expensive. Housing is more expensive. Energy is more expensive. These tariffs that these people have supported has made everything more expensive, and there's no relief in sight.
Well, it averaged 5% during the Biden administration. Inflation is now sitting at right around 3%. That's a win for the American people. We brought down inflation. We've cut everybody's taxes with the biggest tax cut extension ever in American history that we signed into law earlier this year. That included no tax on tips, reduced taxes on Social Security, making sure marginal rates didn't get up. That keeps more dollars in the pockets of working class families.
What would your response be to Texans who don't see the economy as rosy of a picture as you paint it, who feel like they still are struggling right now?
Well, listen, there's always more work to do. We've got housing prices we need to get down. I think we need to get prices down even further than they are. An inflation rate of 3% is better than 5%, but we've got more work to do there. So we've still got another year's worth of of work to do. We've got to bring down healthcare premiums as well. Those are all things that we're working on. Now, we can't work on those whenever the government is shut down because Democrats want to give our tax dollars to illegal aliens. I'm glad that we're back and can actually do work for the American people.
All right, Rudy, Koski. Republicans and Democrats will continue to point fingers at each other. That's nothing new, but who pays the price at the polls in 2026, in your opinion?
Yeah, Stephen. Generally, I'd say neither, because November 2026, light years away in the political universe of instant rice issues. But, there's still a lot of simmering of shutdown angst going on, and all that could flash up on the 2026 campaign trail, like how an ember in a tree stump can reignite a wildfire. Never really out, right? So Democrats on Capitol Hill, for some strange reason, continue to justify this Machiavellian strategy to withhold paychecks and food stamps in order to extend a pandemic-era subsidy that they even had put a timeline on. And they claim that it's a winning talking point. This is like a doctor being happy that he saved the arm but killed the patient in the process. And Republicans who spent more than a month chastising Democrats for voting down a clean CR bill, at the last minute, what do? They add to it and make it a dirty bill. The new language that bans hemp products with intoxicating levels of THC, already causing a political flash fire. We saw it here in Texas, the strong pushback from those who consume hemp, gummies, and beverages derailed Dan Patrick's big ban plan. So I'm not sure which political fire burns into next November's ballot box and becomes a blister, but I do expect next summer's political ad blitz from Democrats and Republicans will be all about the economy. Stephen?
Greg, Rudy is correct. November 2026 is a very long time away, but if you had a crystal ball, at least from today, who do you think this hurts the most?
Look, Stephen, I'm not waffling here or ignoring the polls, but I honestly believe both sides will take a short-term hit. And I say short-term, and I'm agreeing with Rudy, because Americans will move on from the anger and temporary discomfort they've just experienced. It's all in the rearview mirror of a population that has a chronically shrunken attention span and very low expectations of the leaders they elect. I mean, seriously, for more than 3 years, there was deafening and justifiable fury over the wide open border and the millions who crossed over. Say what you want about Trump, but he shut it down. Problem solved. And yet now he's nearly underwater on immigration, a perfect example of the American mindset. Bottom line, next September, as we head into the midterms, this shutdown may not even register, and Americans will once again vote their pocketbooks, as in, do they feel hopeful? Do they believe they can eventually prosper? Do they think Trump's tariff policy is making their lives better or worse? Stephen?
Democrats made this shutdown about health care. Republicans, at least in the Senate, said that, hey, we'll hear you out soon. Rudy, do you think Republicans in Congress will follow through on that promise?
It could, but it may not be the debate that the Democrats really wanted. During the latter part of the shutdown, as you mentioned, Stephen, the Trump administration turning the tables on Democrats somewhat by calling for a subsidy flip. Instead of sending the money that the Democrats wanted to insurance providers, it was suggested that the money should go directly to those in the healthcare marketplace. Let them spend it on what they want. Now, Democrats are hopping onto the health care campaign bandwagon as an issue for them next year. But look out, here come the Republicans trying to hijack that bandwagon, take over that issue with ideas to rebuild Obamacare with something that they're already calling Trump care? Wow. Stephen?
Greg, you'll have the last say on this. Could we be right back here in a month or two? I mean, this CR has a deadline.
Yeah, absolutely, Stephen. That's why I think Republicans will read the polls, which tell them Obamacare subsidies are incredibly popular, especially in red states, and they will negotiate some type of limited extension, albeit with plenty of spin. To do anything differently is incredibly risky in an election year, which will determine control of Congress. And let us not forget, Republicans have had 15 years to come up with a viable alternative to the ACA, and we as a nation are still waiting. All right, we have issues, and we're going to talk about them on the other side of this break. Welcome back to our issues segment of the show, kind of 1 part wisdom and 2 parts personal grievance. I'll get us going. This week, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton sued Harris County for appropriating millions of local tax dollars to fund the legal defense of undocumented immigrants fighting deportation. My response? What took you so long, Paxton? For years, the Democratic majority on Commissioner's Court here has been squandering the hard-earned dollars of actual citizens on this effort to keep folks who came here without permission from being sent home. Better late than never, I guess, but do you think Johnny-come-lately defense from Paxton of our tax dollars has anything to do with an upcoming Republican primary, guys? All right, Stephen.
Oh, shocking.
Yeah. All right. So I know my issue is traditionally sports. Guess what, guys? It's not today. I am sick and tired of people speeding over other holidays. We have not had Thanksgiving yet. I don't know why some people are putting up their Christmas tree yet. I understand, large outdoor venues, that's a little different. I was doing the story about the Mavs GM being fired, and what was happening right next to my live shot? Them putting up a giant Christmas tree. I get it. We want to speed to Christmas, but it's Thanksgiving. We haven't had it yet. That's my issue. Rudy, what's yours?
Preach, preacher, preach. Well, my off-topic issue is going to build off of a warning from actor Fred Thompson's character in that classic movie, The Hunt for Red October. You guys remember that one? It's at a critical point in the movie, and Fred says, "This business will get out of control. It will get out of control, and we'll be lucky to live through with it." So how does that apply with my issue? It applies to the latest big policy fumble by the NCAA, the so-called defenders of amateur sports, setting November the 22nd for the start of a new rule to allow college players and coaches to gamble on pro sports. Wow, this idea, which was already delayed a month, comes with new reports of alleged game fixing by college basketball players, another Black Sox-type scandal, Major League Baseball. What can go wrong, NCAA? It's not like you turned a simple concept of NIL into legalized booster bag men, right? We'll be lucky to survive at least the game. You can see this and our other issue interviews on our YouTube pages.
And keep the conversation going by interacting with us on social media.
And there's always plenty of punches being thrown in Texas politics, so we'll be back next week to talk about which ones landed. Until then, don't forget to let us know what you think the issue is.